As requested, I'm going to discuss whether or not Trump-appointed District Court Judge Aileen Cannon has the right and authority to stop Special Counsel Jack Smith's reported release of the final report of his investigation of Donald Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection and his role in taking top secret U.S. government to Mar-a-Lago. Jack Smith had been planning to release those today, Tuesday, January 7th by 1 p.m. and to release to Attorney General Merrick Garland and to release the final report to the Congress by this Friday. Now, she issued a last-minute stay, stopping and halting it. And whether she could do that, I'm not quite sure. Let's discuss briefly why she's controversial, because she was assigned the case. Technically, you should recuse yourself. She's been asked to recuse herself, meaning step out of the case, because she's shown she has a conflict, because she shows she's biased, trying to get Jack Smith removed, dismissing the case. Everything she's done is just blind allegiance, even challenging Jack Smith. That goes against 50-year precedent of judges not questioning the Justice Department decision to appoint a special counsel. Donald Trump had asked her to appoint a special master to the case, and she granted it. The Court of Appeals, which is the next level, she's a district court level, overruled her and said you can't do that. So every decision she's made has been smacked down. So even this dismissing the case has been smacked down. Now here's the thing: the case continues, even though Jack Smith, as a course, there's a policy from the Justice Department. This is not law. They can prosecute Donald Trump if they want to. As a policy decision, they just said we're not going to prosecute sitting presidents. And that's why Donald Trump ran. He's tired, he's exhausted, he not interested in governing. I don't think he's interested in all y'all. That's why these oligarchs and all these people, this is a little sidebar here, they're doing their best to try to get in there, because they know he's a transactional person, is quid pro quo. He's not interested in governing. They're willing to just say, hey, we'll pay you some money, let us govern. Let us make the decision. You just sit aside, because I don't think he's interested at all in governing y'all. He's tired. He just did it because this was his way of getting out of jail. But I digress. That's a side point. Let's get back to the main thing. The main thing is that she's overstepped her authority many times, and she's been batted down. So technically, she shouldn't have done this. But she got it open because Donald Trump didn't ask for this. His co-conspirator, this guy, who was his bodyguard, Natoa, and then the other person who's in charge of Mar-a-Lago, property manager. The two of them together with Donald Trump decided to hide these documents according to what we already know, the early release documents. He was well aware that the documents that he had his hands on, that guy had sent a picture of the documents. The documents on the top of the boxes state these were like top secret documents, had not been released. All the evidence that they were top secret had not been cleared were on the cover of the boxes. According to early releases of information, Donald Trump said, change out the boxes. He ordered the other person, the other co-conspirator, who said, release the tapes, like deletes evidence of us, the film, the footage. Because why are they doing all of this? Because I've had people on X, I've had people on TikTok, I've had people on YouTube Shorts who say he did nothing wrong, it's a hoax. No. Why, if you have the authority to have this? Because people say, oh, he cleared it, he has the right to do it. If he had authority, he cleared it, there would be no need for them to swap off the boxes. There would be no need for his property manager to erase the footage. When people are erasing footage, when people are swapping out boxes, when there's secret messages, when there's all this document, all this data that indicates that there was an attempt to conceal these documents from Donald Trump's attorney, from the FBI, from the Justice Department that were coming down to take them, that's proof that they knew really well they had no authority and right to have them. There's ample evidence. All of that information is in a report. So these guys said the decision, actually, by the way, Jack Smith only dismissed the case as to Trump. As to these other two guys, it's continued. That case is going forward. Even though he himself is resigned as the special prosecutor, the Department of Justice continued this case. Now, when Donald Trump gets in office, it's possible that whoever he applies, if Pam Bondi gets to be the attorney general, she's going to just make this all go away anyway. So this could be moot, and this could be a miscarriage of justice. But as is today, if that's the issue, because if the report gets released, as promised, those two guys would look really, really bad. So those two guys do not want this report released. So they're just like, oh no, please, can you stop? They went to her because she's, of course, going to try to do this. Can you stop the release of these documents, please, in interest of because we are appealing to the Court of Appeals. Since you already said that Jack Smith should be off the case, we're asking the Court of Appeals, can they too also say Jack Smith shouldn't be on the case and make the case go away? The Court of Appeals hasn't decided yet. So she said, until the Court of Appeals decide, let's not let these documents be released because it's going to prejudice them. Because it's possible if the Court of Appeals agree that Jack Smith shouldn't prosecute the case will go away, and then there would be no need to it. So essentially, it's kind of like hide. It's like hide the information. Don't let the information get out. The Court of Appeals might agree with me to hide this information from being released to the public. It's essentially like, what? So the judge, she has no credibility whatsoever. I don't know how far she's going to get along. She'll go along fine in this administration, but yeah. So technically, they said that before, that many people asked her to accuse herself, say you're beyond the bounds. She's been getting smacked on the wrist left and right. She doesn't look good in the judge community. I don't think she cares. She was a member of the with the Federalist Society and the conservative judges and things like that. So she doesn't care, no care. So as in terms of authority, who knows? It's a temporary clause. It's a temporary delay. She could give, again, an instant. The Court of Appeals, which already batted her down before, could just say, no, we're continuing this case as to you, even though we're not prosecuting against him. The fact of the matter, you aided and abetted this crime, even though one of the co-conspirators, we're not going to prosecute him because he's president. We're still going to go against you. The example I've used before in the past, is that there's 4 people who conspire to commit a crime. One is the getaway driver. One is the one who actually takes the gun to the teller. The other person is a lookout person, and the other person case to join before. If the case decides, and that's a conspiracy, if the case, the getaway driver decides to cooperate with the state, turn state witness, and say, I'm going to help you get these other 3. And the court said, well, because you're doing that, we're going to do a release thing, and we're not going to actually prosecute you because you helped us. It doesn't change the fact that the crime was committed. So they can continue with the case against these 3, even though this person dropped out. So in this case, Donald Trump drops out because he's the president, so they're not going to prosecute him. The case between those other 3 can continue. That's what the Court of Appeals, I'm sure, most likely is going to say. Like, nah, dude, we're going to continue. Jack Smith was properly assigned. They already said Jack Smith was properly assigned before. When Judge Cannon tried to get Jack Smith off, the Court of Appeals batted her down and said, no, he can stay. So if he can stay as to Donald Trump, of course he can stay against these other 2. So the Court of Appeals is going to say, no, the case continues against you too. They're saying, well, we're only doing the job of whatever. I don't care what they're saying. But anyway, so it's only delaying the time. So once the Court of Appeals say, yeah, the case continues against you, the information can be released. So this is just a delay in the inevitable. Inevitably, we're going to get the information. Inevitably, we're going to know to the extent to which Donald Trump was well aware that the documents he had were not his, and he did not classify them, and they were supposed to be returned to the United States. We're all going to know that information really, really soon, and sooner than later. All this is, in addition to the final sentencing, is there's going to be further evidence from this year after he gets inaugurated to what extent the person who would be sitting as the president, because I'm telling you, that's 47, that he's a criminal. It's going to be like, y'all elected a criminal. And the fact that all he did was get a bunch of kids, because I see them on my YouTube channel commenting. They have no clue what the hell they're talking about. I'm sorry to say this, but y'all have no clue what he did last time. No clue what he plans to do time. No clue whatsoever. No knowledge and awareness to the extent that he's not planning to help you or your family or nobody else. He's helping the business class. This was nothing but an attempt for him to stay out of jail. That's why all those oligarchs are just trying to cling on him because he's transactional and get to do what they want to do, and everyone else is going to be ruling. He's going to be like a shadow puppet, what they call lame duck presidency. He's going to be doing whatever those people tell him, not what you and put him in place for. And we warned y'all, and you're going to be knowing more and more ways how he's just a crook. So yeah, that's what it is. I hope that was helpful for you. I did that for my loyal channel person who asked me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And now you all get the benefit of that. So if you have any other questions, I'm going to go back to other stuff I was going to do and go back to my regularly scheduled docket. But I'm willing to take the information and inform you all in case you have any questions. If you have any questions about anything, ask me below and I'll answer you, because I'm a lawyer and I know these things and have a different perspective that you might not get from other people on internet, on YouTube or social media.